I used to laugh at glitch stories until the aisle labels changed while I was standing under them. Freezer 12 became cleaning supplies without a single cart passing, just a click in the air, like a throat clearing. It was 9:18 p.m., a Tuesday, the kind of weeknight when the store hums like an aquarium. I had a short list: milk, pasta, cheap coffee, and I kept reciting it, a tether against the static. The place smelled of lemon wax and overripe bananas. The wall clock above the pharmacy said 9:18. My phone said 9:12. Maybe the battery was dead. I walked past a flex display of paper towels and turned into aisle 7. Except aisle 7 was cereal now. A blink earlier it was pet food. The cardboard faces stared back with identical smiles, and somewhere a compressor coughed. I saw myself first in the freezer glass, and that would have been normal if he moved when I moved. He didn't. He was already turned toward me, cheek tilted, as if catching my approach 10 seconds early. Same scratch from the mailbox screw last week. Same navy jacket. Same don't make a scene face I reserve for bureaucrats and holiday dinners. I angled right, watching glass. My breath wrote a smudge that wasn't in his pain. He lifted a hand. I hadn't. He pointed behind me. At the aisle's end, a man waited with my basket. My posture, history worn into his forehead. I didn't say my name. He mouthed it anyway, slowly. He held my basket like a bribe. My list was inside, folded around a receipt that hadn't been printed yet. The paper had my handwriting and an extra line I hadn't written. If he says your name, do not answer. He set it on the shelf between 2 rows of identical cornflakes that were the same box, but misprinted, a second L where there shouldn't be. I said, "Excuse me," and watched his mouth shape the future a half-second ahead of me. He smiled the way I do in mirrors when I'm making sure I still look like myself. "You're late," he said, my cadence, my small apology tucked into the U. "I tried to leave before you arrived." It didn't take. Behind him, the aisle markers clicked. Cereal became pet care, then home goods. The loudspeaker coughed a tone and an employee's name that shifted syllables. "Yo, Landa, y'all, Anda, Yolanda." A woman in a red vest looked up at nothing and kept wiping a shelf that had no dust. "What is this?" I asked, the stupid question I would ask again in 5 minutes. He pointed at the floor. A hairline crack ran through the vinyl, a seam traveling past our shoes like a thread. Follow the crack. Do not take the aisle the signs tell you to. When a manager asks if you need help, say no and keep walking. If you hear my voice behind you, don't turn. If you answer to your name, you get filed. Filed where? He blinked. Everywhere, and nowhere that opens. He stepped aside, but the crack hugged his sneaker like a magnet line. I followed it past end caps and freezer doors that displayed the wrong seasons. 4th of July hot dogs beside autumn turkeys, gingerbread kits sweating in August air. The hum of the lights thickened, and the aisle signs kept clicking, rattling the alphabet like dice. My other self kept pace 2 rows over, always a fraction ahead, as if he were rehearsing my next hesitation. "Don't look up," he said without speaking. I didn't, but my eyes still found the security mirror. The bowl of glass held a panorama of the store, except people moved there at different speeds. A child tugged a mother's sleeve and never finished the tug. An old man compared cans forever. The manager found me at the intersection of produce and office. Her name tag was laminated, but the letters swam. Cara, Corey, Carrie. She smiled so hard it carved parentheses. "Do you need help finding anything?" she asked. Her second sentence overlapped the first, the same words in a lower key, as if dubbed. "No, thank you," I said, careful to keep my name behind my teeth. "You look familiar," she tried again. "Have we met?" "I don't think so." She inhaled my answer like a scent. "Not yet," she said, and the tag settled on Cara. "If you hear your name, follow my voice." My other self shook his head. The crack slid past the time clock and under an unmarked door that was not employees only. We pushed through together. Fluorescent light thinned into a gray hallway with metal cabinets on both sides, drawers labeled with names and dates that didn't exist. The seam crossed to a desk with a buzzing intercom. The speaker crackled and my name came through twice, once kind, once like a stamp. My other self squeezed my arm. "Do not answer." He opened a drawer marked with our initials and today's date. Inside, receipts I hadn't earned yet, a photo of me leaving the store alone, a key from a lock I don't own. This is where they keep us tidy, he said. Extras get alphabetized. If you speak, you make their job easier. Footsteps padded somewhere above, a different store shuffling stock. The intercom whispered, "Clean up on aisle 9, and every drawer breathed. How do we leave? I whispered. He nodded at the seam. Walk it backward. Don't touch shelves. Think your list in reverse. If you reach the mirror, don't look. If you hear me ahead of you, pass me. Don't take the basket. We walked. The intercom offered bargains in my mother's voice. At the door, the crack stitched itself closed under my heel. I stepped into lights and lemon wax. My basket was gone. A receipt sat in my pocket. Subtotal, milk, pasta, coffee. Change. One duplicate returned. Behind me, an aisle clicked, and someone like me turned to meet me early.